It's time for the BA Breakdown on the KRMG Afternoon News. It is our weekly check-in with Michael Spurgeon, the city manager in Broken Arrow, USA. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. How you doing? Hope your week has started off well, and I'm glad we're going to chance to visit today.
Yeah, doing great. I wanted to talk to you about a number of things happening out in Broken Arrow. First of all, we'll have to break this down into layman's terms for me, but I understand that you are going to be soon working on the fiscal year 2024 budget for the city of Broken Arrow. There's workshops first, and then city council and you, I guess, talk about it before it's all brought up into the public and decided on. But I know from covering budgets in various communities that those discussions can get all, bogged down with numbers and that kind of thing. So I wanted to simplify it, ask you to simplify it. Why is it important for people who live in Broken Arrow, or really in any city for that matter, to care about how city leaders do the budget?
Well, in a nutshell, Skylar, approving the city council's budget is one of the top two priorities that the city council members have every single year. So I present the budget to them, and then we go through a series of workshops, and then we have a public hearing in June. And so the council members, since I've been here, have spent an incredible amount of time during the months of May and early June going through the proposed expenditures and making sure they understand what has been presented. And then once they approve the budget for both operations and the capital program, then it becomes my responsibility to implement that budget. And so I'm very proud of the efforts. In fact, we're having our first budget work session this evening. Right after I finish the breakdown, I'll be back into the special meeting so we can continue discussion with the council. But it is one of the two most important responsibilities the council have is approving the annual appropriations.
One of the things that I had in mind, I know often when we talk into bigger metropolitan areas, it's all about public safety, or at least a big chunk of it is. And when you were off, I asked Police Chief Brandon Berryhill if he needed more cops, if there was a short staffing issue, because I'm so used to hearing that in Tulsa. But he said, no, they're actually pretty good. So is there a focus in what you're probably workshopping tonight on public safety, and what might that look like?
We have 157 authorized sworn police officers, and right now we are at 158 or 159, depending on the information I've received from HR. And I believe that we should always be over the authorized strength to accommodate the retirements that happen throughout the year. So in other words, that if we have an average of 5 to 7 retirements a year, I always like to overhire in the budget. So when we find out, because we don't always find out from individuals that they're going to retire at the beginning of the fiscal year. And so I believe for the police and fire both that we should overhire police officers and firefighters to make sure that we stay up to the authorized strength. Now, the chief has recommended, and the council and I have approved, that we're going to be looking at a manpower study over the next year or so that will let us determine exactly what strength we need to be at based on the growth, number one. Number two, the type of activity that we're experiencing within the community to make sure that we have a number of police officers as well as dispatchers and jailers and so forth, to make sure that we can meet the expectations of a community our size.
We will follow along as that process continues. I feel like, though, we couldn't talk today without mentioning the groundbreaking that happened on the south side of town today at the new Reese's location. Going to be there on Aspen, just north of the Creek Turnpike. Now, as I understand it, this is the ceremonial shovel turning and not necessarily the beginning of construction, but that's coming soon, right?
It is. Well, first off, we spent the last 18 months or so actually putting in the public infrastructure, because what you had was basically a plot of land that didn't have roads, water, or sewer into the development itself to be able to accommodate the new development that's going to be happening. And so the city actually had to go through the process working with the developer to make sure that we had adequate and enough capacity for water, sewer, managing the stormwater, put the streets and roads in, decorative lighting, and we've done that. And today it is a traditional groundbreaking ceremony, and we understand that Research has all their permits in place, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see them start to turn dirt sometime in the next few weeks.
We also know that there's going to be Chipotle, Come and Go, Panda Express, and Dutch Brothers Coffee out there. And my offer stands, Michael. If you choose to make an exclusive announcement here on what other businesses are coming, you're always welcome.
Well, I'd like to do that. I mean, we have such a great relationship, and I would definitely like to, as I find out about them. And there were several national chains that were waiting until today's groundbreaking, because obviously they don't want to make an investment until the anchor store moves forward. And they had so many of the Brookshire folks there today, along with Mr. Reeser and his team. So we're excited. They're actually going to get started pretty soon, and I believe in the spring of next year we're going to be shopping. For those that choose to in South Broken Arrow specifically, are going to be shopping at Reeser's. And don't forget, there's about another 198 to 200,000 square feet of additional commercial and retail that's going to be on that 39 acres. So we're going to see a major development in the next 3 years. You're not even going to recognize, in my opinion, that part of South Broken Arrow.
One last thing before we let you go today. We got an open mic on the KRMG app. We wanted to work in that question.
On the BA breakdown, Skylar, could you ask him if he had any word about bells, any updates or anything? It'd be interesting.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering about that too. Is there any news on the Bells Amusement Park front?
Actually, there is, and I just shared this with the council members about an hour ago. I got an email from the president of the company, the Santa Cruz Seaside Company, and they advised me that they have made the decision not to pursue a new style Bells Amusement Park on that 102 acres, and that they've engaged a local realtor to actually help them sell the land. And so they never submitted an application. I mean, there was an announcement. I do think they seriously looked at it, but right now they say they're going to be focusing on other properties when they're within their portfolio, and they will not be pursuing an amusement park here. And in fact, they hope to sell the land. They told me that if in fact they don't sell the land, they'll put it back in their inventory and then look at options for the property sometime in the future. So Bells is not coming to East Broken Arrow.
Wow, that is big news to hear right here. So far as I'm aware, exclusively on KRMG. Michael, that is massive. We know a lot of fans of Bells were excited. Other people were kind of hesitant because they just weren't so sure about it. And we know those neighbors weren't so excited. There's a lot of people going to be reacting to this. Thank you for sharing that. We are out of time today, but we'll definitely want to follow up on that when we talk next week.
You will, my friend. You have a great week, and look forward to talking to you next Tuesday.